So welcome to today's live trading London to New York crossover. And I just had a Reddit message pop up. How old were you when you started trading? Still old enough to be your mother, pal. Let me just start sharing the screen. So if you're on the 7-day free trial, please make the most of it by coming into the units in our financial freedom movement group. And I'm sure that all the language seems like a foreign language, but I absolutely promise you the fog does clear. And once you join, you get access to everybody will help you. And there are lots of live sessions and there's lots of extra help in the units and a lovely little library of information in the academy. So there's lots of places for you to get that help. So with this particular strategy, we use the Harmonic scanner. So I'm just going to log into our im.center, and this is the Harmonic scanner, and it's also where you'll find the library of information and the Go Live TV, where you'll find all the top educators. So there's masses to choose from there. And here we are with the scanner. I'm not going to draw scans today, so I'll either have to ask Brian or Kathy or avoid pairs where there's scans that I haven't got. I mean, if I'm on my own, I'll trade off an old pitchfork, but I won't do that today. And I spoke to Les earlier today. Here's the Harmonic scanner. It's free with the lowest cost package on our subscription. We're paying for the software systems and tools that do the heavy lifting for us, and also all the other educators and advice and experience and information and trade ideas that we get. So the other main strategy for our trading group on FB Facebook is Vibrata, and that spits out about 60 to 80 trade ideas a day. So we use the Harmonic scanner, and it's very versatile, the various ways you can take trades off it. I don't take trades off the D point, but you can do. Here's the D point. It hasn't, we wait for 20 pips for it to solidify. And here is the scanner trade off the D point, stop loss entry and suggested take profits. But as I say, I don't do that. We measure from C to D, and that one is 253 pips. Don't count the decimal, the little one to the right. So there's another one then, Brian. Have you got that one, this one? Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you.
Which one's that?
GN.
Okay, that one must have just drawn, and it's hasn't moved far enough to TP1 yet to draw.
Right. So I've just made
I'll take a look at that one later.
I've just made a note of that. And there's that GA one you were talking about. Is that this one? Is that the one? That's an H1 shark hourly time frame. C to D, 118 pips.
Yeah, but I usually use FX Choice or Trader's Way.
Oh, which one am I on? Oh, Ganna Trader. Okay.
Yeah, that one's not drawn right.
Let me have a look on here. There. Oh, and there's a GBP USD's just come up.
Yeah, so that one is the one I have, and that's the one where the D point moved from the one I previously posted.
Okay, that's 183 pips, right? Thank you. And then this one on GU there. Oh, that's failed. That's a failed scan.
And I don't think it's big enough either.
No, and it's just dropped straight off the D point.
Sorry, which was the one that you said had redrawn, Brian? I'm getting confused. There's been so many, hasn't there, just lately?
This one.
I know it's
GA. GA is the one. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I've been updating the group as we're going along here.
You're doing a better job than I am. I just can't keep up at the moment. It's
I'm a bit behind.
Yeah.
And this is a USD JPY cipher. I think we've got that one. 18th of June. There. So the other way you can use the scanner is we have a strategy called 25 to life, where we put a fib, which is a magic number that works, Fibonacci, and we'll give you the settings and you draw it off this D point, and there are people that will teach you how to trade off that. Les might come onto the session today. If not, we're going to do a special Zoom later when he's free to go over the Euro NZD trade yesterday, because Brian said, well, he showed me Les's chart, and he'd only had 1 pip drawdown. He got 40 pips. I got stopped out twice at 15 pips and 5 pips, and I very rarely would re-enter a trade a third time. So I wasn't successful on that one. And I know some people yesterday, I think Yuri was looking at it. So I thought it'd be useful for us to learn from Les and have him go over his analysis on this one. It's this one here. Yesterday, but he's busy at the moment.
Maybe you can get him for your back testing call on Friday.
Yeah, I'd rather do it before Friday because it's kind of fresh, and
Friday is tomorrow.
Yeah, but in case other things crop up, because he has quite a lot of family commitments, you know, so might have to, you know.
Yeah, if you can get him, that would be awesome.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll ask him then if he doesn't pop on. If he hops on this session, I'm going to get him to go through it now, but if he doesn't. So this was the correct entry, but I got stopped out back here, 17th of June, London session. So here I thought, here's the pitchfork with the break and the retest. We've lost our quarter theory, to use Brian's trick, which I never knew. Can't see it now, Brian, unless I put the current price on, can I? And that's going to...
Right. Yeah, you may just have to draw one if you're this far back.
Yeah, going to squeeze up too much. So yesterday's session, in fact, it's going to be that line there, isn't it? So I was just above quarter theory and got stopped out. So I'll change that to orange for quarter theory and just change the coordinate. That's the quarter theory. There. Right. So there was the 1 minute trend. It had broken and retested the pitchfork and quarter theory and below the 62. So I thought that was okay to get in. Had a 15 pip stop loss, but it did take us out, and I know it shows it well on in fact, I can see the mistake now because the candles are buy candles going up there, so I probably rushed it a bit. So if I put where the 15 pips would be, and then it came down here again below the pitchfork and the 1 minute trend. I think this is where I just need to get better trying to do live trading with other people on the call and getting into trades. I know it's all our individual responsibility when we get in a trade. If I'm sitting here quietly on my own, I sometimes do adjust the stop loss above a 15 pip to an 18 pip, or 17 is probably my maximum. But if I'd thought about that, the candles are buy candles, so you shouldn't have got in on a buy candle if you're going in for a sell anyway. Then there it is on the 2 o'clock UK time. There's your hourly fake out anyway. So we were trying to get in just before the hour, which isn't a good idea. And then there it is coming below the trend line again. So I made another mistake, and I had my stop loss down at 5 pips because I was moving it down as it went down. But then it took me out again, which must have been up here. It was either that one or that one. It took me out at 5 pips. So I thought, well, I'm not going to get back in. And this, I think I marked it up, was Les's entry because I looked at his trading view chart. So he's got the sell candle, but he's got below the 62. He's got the downward trend. and he's got the pitchfork. It's above, the pitchfork is above. So this is the correct entry for the 40 pip drop, and there's got 40 pips with just a 1 pip drawdown. So well done and congratulations to Les on that. So I thought he could just talk us through that one sometime, which would be very helpful. So today, we always check Forex Factory news. So Thursday, we've had, as Brian said, the Australian dollar news early hours of this morning. Just update the time zone. And we've had Swiss franc news. We don't often see Swiss franc news. And then we've just had GBP news. And I know the Bank of England's just done another 100 billion of quantitative easing. And that's it, it's all GBP. And tomorrow is EU Economic Summit and Canadian dollar news. These are in Paris time, so you have to knock an hour off if you're watching this in the UK. So let's come back over here.
Just my FX book, Sarah, just so you're aware, had red flag on the USD at 13.30. It's only orange on Forex Factory.
Right.
So.
At 1:30 UK time?
Yeah. Sorry, yes.
Yeah. Right, okay, so got that coming up then. Thank you. And let's go on to the... so at the moment, we've got a nice drop going on Euro NZD. Where's the quarter theory? It's not showing. Yes, it is. So we've got, it's below the orange, which is our 1 minute trend line. Current momentum in the market has now crossed the 15-minute one. So that's a confirmation for a sell. It's coming in from these extensions on this scan, and it's done the break and the retest there, and it's below quarter theory. And if we put a trend line on, then we'll see that it's broken that trend line. So that's not a lot of touches there. That doesn't really, so I don't really like that trend line. I'm going to remove that, but you can see it's obviously a downward trend like this. Which is following the extensions anyway. Again, it's not a brilliant trend because of this big gaps. So we've probably got a better trend forming here. I did have a conversation with someone this morning about trend lines, not on this strategy, but just about the importance of them, because they help you have the confidence to see that price is staying below the 62 and below the 1 minute trend. Now, you know, you're going to say, but Sarah, it's broken the trend there. Yes, it has. But if you look at the timestamp below, that's the 1 hour fake out candle, and it's the cross of London to New York, and it's come up with wicks to test the 15 minute, and the wicks tell the story. So if it's wicking off the 15 minute there, then it's telling us that it can't push up above. And I also had a conversation with someone about saying that they were going to draw their scans up and then change back to Heikin-Ashi candles. And I said, well, I don't think so. I think you should just stick with your regular candles, because the Heikin-Ashi actually averages out the candle, doesn't it? So it would give you a flat top when you wouldn't want one. I just mute someone out there. Someone's having their lunch. So our next point of entry is going to be down here when it comes below. It is a sell scan. So I'd be looking at it. Again, as we know, this is a fast moving pair. So I usually set that at 15. And down to that level there which is 1.73500, is going to be the next level down that we would be trying to get, which is what Les caught yesterday, a very nice move between levels. And sometimes when it comes up like that, it's testing that 62, it's coming back up to that, but there's no trade on that one at the moment. It's unless there's a newer scan, which I don't think there is, otherwise Brian would tell us. I'm going to get rid of that today. So that's EN. Let's just save that one in case Les comes on. So I won't look at USD at the moment. We'll carry on down here. Look at GCAD, Canadian dollar, which is in session. And if anyone's got anything they want to discuss or look at, please say. So at the moment, that's coming to move back. Hiya. Hi, Connor.
Hi. Hello, you all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at EuroCAD, and I actually got into that trade and got 20 odd pips from it.
Oh, brilliant. I haven't done anything this morning.
It was a nice, where is it? Yeah, price comment and respected the 930, but broke through the pitchfork, then come down again, did 10 pips and retested the pitchfork then. But then when it come and retested the 930, it actually did a perfect touch off the 618 Fibonacci.
Is it over here then at the beginning of London? Or is it back here? Very open of London?
No, further.
Up here?
A little bit further along to the recent.
Here?
I think that might have been here.
That would be 12 o'clock your time.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So you had the did you have this break and retest of the pitchfork, that one there?
Yeah, it was that one. I don't know if I did my
big one.
Fibonacci too high up to the left.
A fib. That's a nice move for you. Well done. So from there, did you do it from there to there? No, that doesn't work.
Where was it? I did it.
No, it must be further back.
It was quite a big one. No, it was all the way to the left, and I did it to the bottom. Yeah, that previous high, just above the 930 and the. 62.
All the way back there.
Yeah, up there.
Wow.
I don't know if that was a good thing to do or not, or.
I think chance might say that's quite big, but I don't know. As I keep saying to people, I'm not the expert on fibs, but obviously it worked because that's where you're saying it. You've got the 61.8 rejection and the 15-minute line at that point there. And then it came below. So is that what you're talking about? Has he gone?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. So
that's
did you get?
I sort of waited for it to come back down, then retest the pitchfork again.
Did you get in here then? Down here? You must have done.
So I keep myself because it's late at work. It's loud at work. Sorry. Yeah, I waited till it broke through the 62 MA first. Yeah.
Yeah, there. So yeah. The only thing I would say, and I'm not an expert, is I don't think I've ever drawn such a big fib right the way back to there, but obviously it worked. And we are on the one.
Yeah, I was thinking about that afterwards. I wasn't too sure if that was just a fluke or it was just. I don't know.
But if you look at where else you could have drawn the fib, it would have been here, and then. Well, actually, that works out the same because if your fib is high to low past the present, it took you were still correct in the outcome because it's still at the 61.8 off that fib there. Yeah. So it worked the same as putting it on that fib there, didn't it? In fact, you couldn't have put it on that fib there because that is too far near to current price, and the the move had already started, you would have had to, you wouldn't have put the fib on there. So it had to be on one of these levels, all of which are the same. So actually it worked out perfectly. And yes, that was the correct place to put the fib. It took that while to come up above the 50 to the 61.8. I think that's how I would read it. And then there's the break and the retest down to under the 62. And you've got your confirmations for the drop to the next level. So that was a very nice move. So what have we got going on at the moment? We've got it coming back up to the pitchfork. It is a buy scan, and it's got the pitchfork. I can see an old pitchfork underneath and quarter theory. So we're looking for either a rejection or a break and a retest up to there. So we'll put a trend line on here, and I'll just turn it into an alert. So that's Euro CAD. And we'll go to GCAD again. I know Connor's at work, so it's limited on input. So yeah, as I was saying, this one is, it's still in a strong downward trend. The orange is the 1 minute, the 62 is below the 15 minute. It's come outside of the scan, and it looks like it wants to either retouch the 62 and carry on down at the moment, rather than try and come back into that scan. It's still a very strong downward trend on that. Do I have another scan I can look at that it's coming into? I can see a line there. You just see which one that is. So I've got that green one, big green one. I just want to look and see where that is. That is off a D point on the 11th of June. Is that right? No, D, is it that one? D to C, that one. You must have that one, Brian. 11th of June, I would have thought you'd have that one.
Which one's this? I'm drawing up the one, the ECAD one for chances bad backtesting call next week.
It's GBP CAD, GCAD. It's come back in. It looks like it's coming back into this scan off the D point of the 11th of June.
Yeah, I probably have that somewhere.
I'm sure you would, yeah. So that, just to let you know, that's 200. That's, call it 300 pips C to D. So that's a good scan. So that makes it about 70 pips, 75 pips per leg. And it looks like it's dropping straight back into it, rather than coming back up into this scan it's just fallen out of.
Can I ask a question, Sarah? You know, when you've got, well, you've got quite a few scans altogether there, but the biggest one that you were looking at, if it hasn't gone past the median on that, the fact that there's other scans since then, do you still look to see if it's gone through? Oh, mind you, this is a big scan anyway, so the median doesn't count, does it? But if it did, would it do all the same things apply? It has to go through the median before you think about taking a a trade in the opposite direction to the scan?
I've never heard Chance be asked that question, and I've never thought about that. If you look at it now, it's only just past the median of that big scan, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Which is engulfing this two newer scans, engulfing these two newer scans. That D point is the there's a D point down here. I can't see which way round it is, but round about the 12th of June, and then this new one of the 17th. So that's a very good point. Never been asked that before.
I don't think we've ever had so many. Well, certainly since I've started looking at this, we haven't had so many scans altogether.
I think the only thing I know about the big scans is the bigger they are, the more robust and kind of, you know, powerful. Powerful's the word. So they are powerful. But obviously the smaller scan is going to be the one that you're playing in, aren't you? If it's come up more recently.
But you're looking to see which one is most relevant, with the other one being, the older one being a big one.
I'm just looking to see where is price going, given that it's not playing in the current scan.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all.
Okay.
And if I've got a lot of faded lines behind, so but that does seem to be the most recent, oldest one that it's now in, because if this big scan was, say, 3 or 4 months back, I might look for a closer scan, a recent scan, but it just happens to be that this very big one is the most recent one further back that's picking it up. Because I can see some, if I put that, just see, for example, if I change this to say bright pink so we can see it, just to see where this other scan is. Now I've changed it to pink. Sorry, it's going to look like a right mess, but I'll just put the padlock on, see if we can see where that big pink one is. And I'm only on the 15-minute chart. There it is. So that big pink one is a D point from the 1st of May. So I wouldn't, so even though that is picking the scan up, it's also picking the scan up. My personal preference, and I'm pretty sure this is right, I would go to this newer green one rather than the pink one, because, you know, it's just nearer. I suppose they're doing a similar thing though. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Just change that back to green to fade in with everything else. I don't have to be sat looking at it. So we're now picking up this big scan, as we said. So it's dropped below the 62 EMA for a sell. It's playing into this big green scan. It's in the middle of it. It's not, there's the extensions right down there. So it's not an extensions of it. It's right in the middle of this bigger scan that's picking it up. And it's just coming down to quarter theory. So as it breaks and retests quarter theory, the only problem we've got is this one of stop loss, because to cover both, GCAD is a fast pair, so that is too big a stop loss for me. To come, I mean, that is the sell, but it's when it comes past 1.69000. But I don't like that stop loss myself. So that's up to you guys, because it is a strong downward trend, the momentum. And that next level is 50 pips, obviously, between quarter theory. And I expect our hull is going to tell us. Did you get the hull to switch on, Kathy? You were saying you have a problem.
No, I have never got it to work. It worked for about a minute when I first put it on, and it's never worked since. Maybe I've tried taking it off and putting it on again.
Have you got your enable code in?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I've checked that it looks the same as yours.
It looks the same as that?
Yeah. I went back and looked at the video that Chance did with it as well. So
sometimes I find that it's very slow to load on the 1 minute.
Yeah.
Have you tried it on the 15-minute?
Yeah, I just can't get it to work at all. I don't know why.
No, that is bizarre.
Yeah, maybe I need to. I've never actually contacted TradingView support. I guess I should try them.
Yes.
So I might try that.
So very strong downward trend on this, if anyone's interested in this trade. I'm quite interested in it, but I don't like the stop loss, and I always hate breaking my rules, because when I do break my rules, it doesn't always end well for me. But that is a very strong downward trend.
Would this be anything that you'd put a fib on because of the news? Because the news was, what, 12 o'clock? Is that what caused that spike up? And then would it retrace anyway, or?
That spike up is at 12 o'clock, yes. Well, I try not to take any notice of politics, because I don't want a bias when I'm coming onto the charts, apart from the election night one that I did. I like to just look at each trade. I don't even look at, I've got this FX Streets flashes up in the corner of my screen, and I need to go through my cookies or put an ad block on it or something, because I don't like it catching my eye. So I honestly never take any notice of politics, apart from looking at the red flag stuff to avoid certain pairs. I presume that it spiked up, but the drop is now, because obviously that's a lot of quantitative easing has now gone into the economy in the UK, even though it's happened all around the world. So some people say, oh, well, it's all on a par, you know.
I've seen Chance when he's talked about the news saying, I saw something where he put a fib on it and it retraced 50% or something.
Yeah, I know. That's an Oren Wright strategy, where it will retrace 50% of the move. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Now, I have done that myself and then found it hasn't always worked out for me. So from low to high, if the news was at 12, retrace back to the 50% is just where it's at the top of the 62.
But it's still going, so we can virtually ignore that then.
Yes, it's done that, but that is one strategy to pick up money following a news announcement, and that's an Oren Wright one. 100% up to the zero as the news hit from the lowest candle, the original news, not just that one. You can do it from either, but he said it doesn't make a lot of difference, up to the top there, and then it'll come back to the 50%. So that would have been,
which is what it sort of did, and then it moved again, didn't it? Yeah.
So that'd be 42 pips. But sometimes I've found, when I've suggested that to people, it's come back some of the way and it's not come back all of the way. So, you know, again, I don't trade that anymore myself.
Okie dokie, thank you.
So I'm just watching this because some people might want to get into this one, but as I say, I'm not sure I'm keen on pulling my stop loss down and just covering the quarter theory. But that is, I wonder, because it is a big scan, isn't it? So you can take a quarter theory trade, 93 pips. So that is a good scan. But there isn't a fib that we can put on this. We've had that news, so there's no spike back. There's no fib to put on this as a confirmation. You've just got your downward trend. You've got your break and your retest off that pitchfork. You've got it under the 62. The 62's crossed under the 15-minute one, and now we're just waiting for that break of quarter theory there. So I'll put a trend line on that. We can have an alert on that. GBP usually moves pretty fast, and just see what happens there when it goes through. I'll have another look at it then.
Ross has just asked what settings the EMAs are. Sarah, I don't know if you want to answer that while he's looking at the screen.
Yeah, the 62 EMA, let me just put that alert on.
Brian's already told him.
I know, I didn't like to say, Brian, will you please do that? Because it's up to Brian, but bless you, Brian, and thank you.
But I wondered if he needed sort of a bit of explanation why the 9:30, or anyway.
Well,
sorry.
The 9, I bet Brian's answering it as we speak. The 9:30 is made up of 15 times 62. So that's 15 for the 15-minute candle times 62, which is the, you know, the 1 minute length, and it therefore puts that blue line on, which is showing you how this orange line would appear as if we were looking at the 15-minute chart. And as the orange line, the 62, is the current trend in the market, what we know is once it's crossed the blue line, therefore that is the current momentum, and that therefore is one of our strong confirmations to take, in this case a sell, or if it was going the other way, a buy. Okay. And look at that beautiful trade there, breaking the retest of quarter theory and the pitchfork, and right on the 62. Oh my God, that is a corker. That would have been at 8:30 UK time. 50 pips down to that, then 60, and it went all the way down to 73, and it's carried on down to 100 pips there. But that is a classic there. Lovely. Really lovely.
That was right at the start of London session too, or
yeah,
half hour.
Isn't that beautiful? And the annoying thing is, I actually got up early this morning because I was going to come on early, and then I did other things on Messenger. I felt a bit tired. I didn't feel like trading this morning, so I didn't. But that's beautiful. Okay, so let's go on to something else. Done that. Set that. I'm just trying to close a few in case I get the system too slow, because the alerts will go off anyway. Right, so we'll look at, just let that catch up. Oh, come on. Now it's frozen on me just when I tried to close everything. Not moving now. Come on. Why has that suddenly gone so slow? My trading view's frozen up. I'll have to reload it. Sorry about this, guys. If I can come out, come back in, might be quicker.
Can I ask another question while you're doing that?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, maybe Brian might be able to answer this. I was thinking this week, Brian, with all the scans we're putting on, what would happen if something happened to TradingView, we lost them all? Is there any way we can back it up or anything?
I honestly don't know, but that would be a very, very sad day.
Wouldn't be laughing then, would we? Yeah.
The only thing I'd thought of was I had something flash up on TradingView a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, oh, I'm going to do that. You can put two-factor authentication on, and I thought, I think I'm going to put that on my TradingView just in case some hacker got in and decided to be silly and delete everybody's stuff.
Yeah, it's certainly worth doing, because it wouldn't. There's no harm in that, is there at all?
Yeah.
Well, it would just be an extra step for you to log into TradingView. You'd have to enter in the extra piece of information that it would send you.
Okay, so GA is doing a similar thing. Price is under the 62. It's touched quarter theory. It's come out of that scan, and I can see it's very similar, actually. I can see another scan sat in some similar place behind it. I'll just bring that one up. The only thing that you wouldn't like about getting into this trade is it's got the brick wall of that scan sitting, this one I'm just about to look at, sitting only 14 pips further down, but the orange is below the blue. It's rejected off quarter theory. It's also done a break and a retest off that line of the pitchfork. So that is a sell as it breaks through 1.81500. But it's not, you've not got the full 20 pips down to the next level until it breaks through the next line of the pitchfork. That's the only problem with it, if you want to see it as a problem. And there's quite a spike back up there, but then GA also is a very fast pair, as we know. That's a very strong downward trend. I think I'd rather follow that one, and I'll just look back to see where this scan has come from, that it's moved into. That's a very nice trend line. Settings, just change that to green, and let me look back on the 15-minute, see if we can see where that scan is. Just put the padlock on, just as a double precaution that I don't glitch anything. It's sitting in this one here, which is from the 1st of June. So you must have that one, Brian and Kathy. I would have thought you've got this one. Anyway, that's where it is. And that is 200 pips. So you've got 50 pips per leg. Come back to the 1 minute. And as I say, the only thing I don't like, but some of you may like, or you may, sorry about the glitching, it always does that on TradingView when it comes, when price comes through quarter theory. So very fast pair, 15 pip stop loss, 20 pip take profit, but you're going to have the wall at 13 pips of that pitchfork. So that would give you one to one if you took 10 pips. And the other thing is that you've got this as a quarter theory. You haven't got it coming through. You haven't got two lines, and you haven't got the 62. So you know it's a bit risky from that point of view, because if you look left, just above this pitchfork, you've actually got 3 lines of resistance. I'll just draw them on to show you. So you would always take note of that price didn't like that level. And we'll just look a bit further back as well. That's this line here. So, you know, it's not liking that level. So even though you've got a strong downward trend, that probably wouldn't be a trade for me for that reason. Number one, I can't try and go for the 20 and down to the next level because of that wall. Number two, I've only got 1 line against me getting taken out of the stop loss. And I don't like that. I don't trade very well like that. I like 2 lines. And to the left, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of resistance, where price support, resistance. And look at it back here. It's done it the same all the way back here. So it really doesn't like that level. And we'll look to see where the next level down is. When did it last break through that level? Just come up to the 5 minutes, see if it shows us a bit better. There, it came down further, 10th of June, 9th of June, and down to the quarter theory on the 8th of June. So if it does break through this level where I've got that blue line, and you waited for it to come through the pitchfork, you might be better off taking a trade like that, because that's its next level down if you look back down here. Okay, so I will look at a trade from that point of view as well, because there's plenty of trades to take. So you don't need to be getting into things that you don't feel 100% comfortable with, in my opinion. But some of you on this might just want to go for 5 or 10 pips and might be overlaying your, you know, another indicator or something. And
what's the vertical lines, Sarah?
Oh, this is trading view. It just glitches when price goes through quarter theory. It's trading view glitching. Yeah, it shouldn't be there, but it's something to do with the software. Just as price crosses it, you just have to switch it on and off till it settles down again. But it won't settle down till price clears quarter theory. So if you waited for it, I'll get rid of that. No, I won't. I'll leave that on for a minute. I'll just pull down that slider. So if you waited for it to come through here, that's a better entry, I think. You might have to increase your, but then you've got your 20 pips and you've got down to the 33. I think that looks a better trade to me. Okay, so that would be an entry at 1.81418 with a stop loss of, I think you'd have to go to 17 pips, 1.81519, and then you're looking for it to 1.81147, which is 20 pips, or slightly, just haven't got that slightly right. .81149 down to 35 pips, just about at 1.81000. So and you can see actually how we've now got less wax on the candles. It's stalling out a bit. But if we draw it as a brush mark for you, then you're looking for it to come off that 1 minute trend and come down like that. That's what I'd like to see. It carries on down. So that's GCAD. Sorry, GBPAUD, beg your pardon. Just get rid of that and move on to another one. See if that's come off yet. So that's GA. I'm going to put a trend line on that. And it's just picking up, it just picked up another one behind there, but I can't quite see it. I think that's the most recent one. Oh, it's that one. What's that scan? It's also got a purple. Let me change that to pink so you can see it. It's also got that pink scan. You've got another pitchfork. Got a double barrier. Got a double barrier there, which is a plus and a minus. It's against you on the trade if you're thinking of getting in off this quarter theory, because that is fewer pips. It's got to get through that little pink one as well. But if you entered on the break and the retest after it clears that 1.81 339 or whatever it was, the green dotted line, then you've got two barriers plus the quarter theory, which makes it quite nice. Let's just see how far back that pink one is. Looks like it's quite a way back. That is from, oh, only the 9th of June. It's had quite a few scans. Oh, I suppose fast moving pair, isn't it? Right, so that's GA. I'm going to take that down. I don't need that showing so much. Okay, let's have a look at GJ. GJ, what are you doing? Again, it's selling off. So it's broken and retested quarter theory. It's retested the 62. It's under the 62. Broken and retested the pitchfork. It's coming down fast through this next quarter theory. The measurement between the scan, between each leg, is 89, 90 pips. So you can take quarter theory trades when you've got a big scan like that. The scan itself is from quite a new one, which is that's a nice clean setup, 16th of June. So that's one of our ideal entries that we like, a break and a retest off the D point. I'll come down to the 1 minute to show you. That's one of the nicest entries like that. And then under the 62, down to there, there's a quarter theory down here. So that would have given you, if you'd entered there, that's about 40, more than that. That would have given you, let's say, 80 pips, just under 80 pips, something like 80 pips. Came back up and retested. Sorry, it's not showing quarter theory because we're too far off. Came down, stalled along the 62 and the pitchfork all the way through New York to close the markets, all the way through Tokyo. Didn't move a lot. I suppose that might have been quite a few pips, but sometimes Tokyo only moves about 20 pips. So a lot of that was stall out. Made a move up in London, and then New York dropped down to the pitchfork again. Here's quarter theory coming back on. So you can see how it's come down to quarter theory, up to quarter theory, down to quarter theory, up to quarter theory, down through there to the pitchfork, comes along quarter theory again. So we're trending very nicely. And we're on the 1 minute, still in a strong downward trend. Look at that strong downward trend line on this one. So we just put that trend line on like that. And remember, we're coming up to the hour, so lesson learnt from yesterday, don't enter trades, wait till after the hour, because you get the fake outs. Just turn that to green.
How long would you wait, Sarah, after the hour?
Just a few minutes. There was a perfect entry I was discussing with Connor the other day when he was at work, which was, we were just doing a bit of back testing. We decided that the perfect entry would have been on the sell candle 12 minutes after the hour, but sometimes it can be like 3 or 4 minutes, but wait for the candle in the right direction of the trade you're thinking of taking.
Yeah, thanks. So there's a break and a retest on quarter theory there. That's at 133.000. If you're in, you've got the break and the retest of the pitchfork, you've got it under the 62, you've got it respecting the 1 minute trend. It's over 60 pips on the leg, so we are allowed to take a buy, or sorry, we're allowed to take a quarter theory trade, and you're just waiting ideally for it to break, because we're on the hour, break and retest that quarter theory, and then you can look. So don't get in until, play safe, don't get in until it's turned and come down for you. Okay, off that quarter theory. And I know sometimes it moves straight down, so you just have to make your own mind up sometimes, but I find when I've taken trades
where it's just broken and not retested, I've regretted it, because then I sit and draw down and then I get a bit, you know, unhappy. Don't like that any more times than I have to, although the market does flow, as we know. I'm just going to check before we go. I don't want to be rude and hold someone up on their next session, but for those staying on, I'll just check those 2 alerts that went off, which was EN and GCAD. I don't know why that went off. Was I checking the wrong one? Look at GCAD then. Sorry, system's slow to load. Frozen. Oh, that's better. Right, GCAD, there we are. Just took a while to catch up. So it's coming down now. And there's your trade. It's just past the hour now, isn't it? Well, where was the other alarm when went off then? I had 2 go off. And I thought it was on EN, but it can't be, can it? That's come back up there and I've got the alarm down there. GA.
Can you check it on the sides there, on the right-hand side, where you've got your little alarm clock right at the very right of your screen? At the top.
Do you know, I've never done that.
At the top.
You two know.
And then it shows you the alerts log at the bottom.
Yeah, you know, I've never done
below
that.
Below the one with the line, horizontal lines, which is all your pairs, and then you can check your log. There you go.
Yeah, I never knew that. Shows how much I look at things. GCAD, EuroCAD then, was it? Maybe it was EuroCAD that went off. GA's going off. So GA, GCAD, EuroCAD, GBP ORD, yeah, and GCAD. So there's GCAD moving down. If anyone was looking at that, that's now moved off 20 pips. Very nice. GA, let's get rid of that. GA is just coming through, so I'll get rid of that so you can see it more clearly. That's just breaking through those barriers that we were talking about. So that's that one. And just look at the last one. I'll look at, was it EuroCAD? So I think the best one there was GCAD, wasn't it? If anyone got into that.
I did, thanks, Sarah.
Oh, well done. Well, it can't have been this one because I haven't even got this. Oh, that's an old one. No, sorry. Oh, made a mistake there. Got 2 open.
I'm at 42 pips so far.
Are you really? You ought to think about getting out of that, 1 to 4. It's a fast-moving pair, remember? Oh, mind you, I'm always a bit of a chicken because the next level down is right down here at that pitchfork, and price will normally want to do that. So that's 1.68584, got the green pitchfork down there, and then the next quarter theory at 1.68500. But you have got this line of support and resistance there. But that's brilliant. Well done, well done. Lovely.
I've got an TP at 68500.
Okay, yeah, but remember you've got the pitchfork above it. I've got an older pitchfork. Just keep an eye on it at 1.68585. It's an old pitchfork running through.
Okay.
Which I just always like to keep, half an eye on in case price decides it's going to stall out, because I have seen it do that on any pair before now.
I've taken some profit.
I'll just, if I put it on in pink for you to show you, it's that line there. There's an old pitchfork running through.
What, the purple one?
Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. And that is sitting 8 pips above that quarter theory where you've got your take profit set. But let's see what it does here, because that's a line of resistance on that previous level there. But I'm just wondering if it's got any further back if I come to the 5 minute. Oh gosh, no, it hasn't. That's amazing. So it's not been that low for quite a while. Let's go to the 15 minute. On that quarter theory. Oh, back 27th of May, it was at the lower quarter theory at 1.68500. So you are thinking good to try and hang on to that level, I would suggest, because it is a fast pair as well. And it was last at the level it's currently at on the 4th of June. So if it breaks the level it's at the moment, then that is its next level it was previously at.
Which is?
Which is the one where you've got your take profit, 1.68500.
500, okay.
Yeah. So I would definitely be looking for it to get to that level, as long as it just doesn't stall out at that purple, pinky pitchfork thingy there. Yeah?
Yep, got it.
Which is about 8 pips above.
We've got quite a few pips to get there before.
Yeah, just have a look at what it's doing at the moment. It's just stalling out a bit, but then it is a fast pair, so it doesn't, you're gonna get a bit of a flow, aren't you? So this is where you have to make your mind up whether you're going for your 20 pips or you said you're 40 pips in profit already.
I'm 40 pips out.
Yeah, so whether you want your 1 to 4, how much you're prepared to risk on the pullback in order to wait to see for it to drop to that next level. So that's always a personal judgment call, and I don't always get it exactly right. As Chance always says, you'll never get 100% of a move, but often people walk away with nothing because they're not prepared to take 60 or 70% of the move. So this is quite a judgment call, because you're up 40 pips. That's a very good return. So do you want it to come right back up to quarter theory? And I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I'm just kind of open thoughts. It's a fast pair, so is it going to come up to quarter theory? Is it going to come up and retest the 62? In which case you're saying you're prepared possibly to give up 14 pips to 17 pips.
Yes.
In order for it to swing down
break the trend line.
further.
Would it break your trend line?
Well, the thing about breaking trend lines, so let's say you're thinking of giving up 12 to 14 pips in order to win another 21 to 28 pips. Is that worth it? Do you see what I mean? And it could well indeed drop to that next level down. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know. The thing about you've got 2 different trend lines, and Chance was teaching us this the other day. You've got your entry trend line, and then you've got your trade trend line, and you can move your trend line. So your trade trend line, now we're in the trade, could now, and you've got wicks there. It could, and it is a fast pair. But you can adjust it, so you could be looking at it like that. So you don't necessarily
Right.
You know,
I'm out of the trade now. I think I had an old exit manager that
took
did
it
it
out.
for me, which I
Well, you know what's
didn't check.
gonna happen now, don't you? Although I'm glad it's not my fault. It's going to drop straight down, and do another 50 pips. But at least we know it's your exit manager. It's not us.
No.
You have to remember, I had this on the back testing call with Chance this week. He didn't really know why I exited a trade, and then he just pointed out that 2 of the 3 exit criteria are your trade goal and your daily goal percentage.
Right. Good. Well remembered. Yes, exactly. That's right. Yes, he was. He was talking about that as well. And I also said I'd just come out at something at 20 pips, and it could. I can't remember how many it had done.
So if you we shoot for 1 to 2. If you got 1 to 4 already, I'd call it good. Live another day. You can always re-enter again.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm trying to perfect the swinging of trades, and that's why I want to learn from Les, because I just haven't still. I don't feel I'm really that good at it all the time, and I get stopped out. And I think, well, I could have just taken the 30 or 40, and then I end up with 13, which doesn't make one feel very good about things.
Well, you have to think about this too. Chance also said too lately, or in the last week or so, that we're kind of debating over stop profit levels, not stop loss,
which is a great progress.
Which is a great problem to have, right?
Yeah, and that we're getting the entries right. Generally, I wasn't too happy about yesterday. So in answer to your question, I don't particularly mind if it slips through. It's called slippage. It slips through the trend line, particularly on the hour, like there, that candle's slipping through the trend line. So if it does, and it's a fast pair, remember, so if it slipped above the trend line all the way up to the quarter theory and hit the 62, I wouldn't consider that necessarily a failed trend line. Yeah? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So before we go, is there any other pair we were looking at that anyone wants to go back to? Or any other questions that Brian very kindly hasn't answered? EuroCAD.
You were
EuroCAD
talking
was
about GBJPY?
Oh yeah, we'll have another quick look where that is. Good point. There it is. Well, that's coming down. System's frozen. But you can see it. That's it. Oh, look at that. It's following my little yellow markup. I do love it when it plays nicely. Yeah, so there's your... So, I know what you're going to say now. Does it have to hit quarter theory exactly? And the answer to that is preferably yes, but it's on that 1 minute trend, and you just have to make a decision that's 6 pips off. So ideally, you'd want it to come back up because you've got a stronger boomerang effect. And we'll just magnify it so you can see it more clearly what the candles are doing. So we've still got, so to read the chart, it's still a strong downward momentum. Price is well under the 62, and it is still following our trend line nicely. It did the break and the retest of the pitchfork, obviously. The candles, there's not a lot of wax on the candles. There's not a lot of movement at the moment. And this is a pair, it's about a 6 out of 10. And with GBP JPY, what Chance says about this pair is that he only trades it if there's the perfect setup. If there's the perfect setup, they're very good pips to be made. So I think if he was looking at this, he would say, be patient, wait for price to come up. I'm pretty sure that's what he would say, like that, because that's about 14 pips away. And so your entry will be back up at that 1.32, 1.33, that is, isn't it? And 15 pip stop loss on GBP pairs. So as I said, the only thing I didn't like about this is, for me, I've only got that one. I haven't got any old pitchforks. I've just got quarter theory. I haven't got my stop loss covered, so I probably wouldn't enter this one. But if you were thinking of it when it comes back to 133.000, then your take profit level, the next one down, is 132.500, 132.500, and then the pitchfork sits at 132.410, sitting about 9 pips below. So you've got 50 pips because this is a quarter theory trade, and your 20 pips is there. I know Connor might be listening and he's at work, so 20 pips would be at 132.800. I suppose the hull, just check that, will still tell us. I'm trying to see if there's a fib there, but I can't really see it. That's still saying red, as you'd expect. So if we did a fib off this, I think it would be that, but that looks quite big to me, but I'll do it just in case it works. Be off that high to low, past to present. So that doesn't really help us. That's not doing anything for us off that point because it's not even back up at the 50. This is where, you know, I never know with fibs because you're trying to talk yourself into them. And then that level there, that only gives us a 50%. If you took it off that level there, down to the 0, it's only gone back to the 50. So sometimes that puts me off a trade because we like price to come back up to this 61.8 level, or our favorite, the 88.6, which is that one there. So I don't always use the fibs because I can sometimes talk myself out of something. So that's everything for today. And in fact, that's not going, it's sort of coming down again, but it's not retesting the quarter theory. So it should carry on down because price will usually want to get to the next level. But sometimes, like here, it failed there. It didn't reach the next level, in which case price wants to revert to its previous level. So it could decide that it's going to do just going to do sort of a, what did it do there? So it could start to, come back up here, and then it could want to consolidate in that price trap area of quarter theory in the pitchfork as we get later into the New York session, because that is a London and Asian session pair, and GBP has now made that move after its news, I suppose. So I'm going to stop sharing and call it a day, and unless anyone's got any questions. We've had a lot. So Brian, I hope, has done the questions. That's very kind of him. You've done all the questions, Brian?
Yeah, I've pretty much got everything.
I owe you a beer. I have to send you what's your local coffee shop? I need to send you a virtual. I need to phone up and order you a breakfast. Get you sent round a bacon bap and a cup of coffee.
There you go.
Yeah. Fantastic. So Brian said, thank you, Brian. He's drawing up EuroCAD for, we're going to go through that on Chance's backtesting call. I thoroughly recommend that call. It is 12:30 UK time after midnight, but it's extremely helpful.
Catch the recording regardless.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we get fantastic. We send in all our errors.
And if anybody wants to send charts
winners.
in, if anybody wants to send in charts that you've marked up and can't get it, send them to me. I will put them in for you.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. That's a great idea. The oranges are 62, blues are 930. Yeah, with the measurements. Is the precision default? Yes. Just change the number of candles. Yeah. Previous scanners talked me able to share TradingView sessions. I don't understand that one, John.
Oh, I got that one.
You got that one. What's the number for the pitchfork extensions? Thank you, Kathy. Yeah. And Brian, sharing only works if you have the paid version. Okay. I have the scan points.
Yeah, I'm going to meet up with John if you skip down further.
I have Pro. Oh, brilliant. Thank you. psychology, methodology, price, looking to fit to the fibs. Is there a psychology or methodology to price looking to fit the fibs? It's based on Elliott wave, John. So you're looking for the reversals. If I show you on share screen and just draw it on, I went through this with someone, I think it was Jules on Messenger the other day. So the Elliott wave goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and these are your reversal points, and they're different fibs on them. And conversely, going down, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, it's off my screen. And these are the fib retracements. So when we draw a fib on here, like there to there, we're looking for the retracement off. So this would be for a sell. So we're looking for the price to come up. Sorry, trying to draw on with the brush. Price to come up to either the 61 and down, or up to the 88.6 and then down. So that's what these reversal points are. Okay. Does that make sense? Based on Elliott wave, and different percentages form the Elliott wave. Different shapes of the scan are formed by different depths of reversal points. And that's how you get the different butterfly and Gartley. They're in the 400 series of the library. There is some Christopher Terry, very good Christopher Terry technical videos if you want to get into them to that much depth. I can't remember them all, how they, actually what the different percentages are on the different scans. There we are. I'll just stop sharing again. Okay, so I'll let you know when Les will do that session with us back testing the Euro NZD trade. And I know Yuri was interested in that one yesterday, so I thought it'd be good if we could specifically go through it, because I didn't do well on that one and Les did, and I thought we could all learn from that. Thanks very much for your help, everyone, and Kathy and Brian in particular. Appreciate it. Bye for now.
All right. See you all next week.
Cheers, Sarah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, my first session was here, and that was brilliant. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
40 pips, that's not bad, is it?
He needs to come along more often.
Yeah, I'll be lifting you up.
Don't tell Sharon.